The dagger had missed Duran's heart by a hair's width. As he lay bleeding in his bed, his assailant made a run from the scene of the crime, barring the door behind him. Our heroes flew into action, first stabilizing Duran, then breaking free from their room to chase the mysterious attacker into the early morning streets of Otari. The man ran through the market, using a smoke bomb to try and slip away from our heroes, but they could not be deterred. They pursued him to the outskirts of town, and then down to the giant log flume on the eastern edge of the city limits. Though they nearly died in the effort, they were soon after able to capture the man, just as the city guard arrived to see what the ruckus had been about. The man was a citizen of Otari who had been employed by the clerics of the Donfloor Library to tend the graveyard, as well as an apprentice alchemist to Magar Loy at the Crow's Cast. His name was Terence, and according to locals he had always been a quiet and reclusive person, but had never caused trouble before. After some convincing, the local guard allowed the party to interrogate Terence in his holding cell. He seemed disturbed and spoke of Belkara and the power of Gauntlet's reawakening as a prophetic sign. He was covered in strange tattoos and refused to say where he got them. The party was able to glean little from him, but when asked who else in town was a follower of Belkara, Terence proudly claimed, "We are Legion." Our heroes immediately went to work, interviewing Magiloy, who revealed the recipe and ingredients for a numbing potion had been stolen from a shop the night before, and only Terence had a key. When speaking to High Priestess Dolly, she told them Terence had been an exemplary but private worker. She did notice, since the dead had risen from the cemetery, that he had been even more withdrawn than usual. The leader of the Thieves' Guild, Yeneas Moral, promised to use her agents to discover anything they could about other cult members in the small town. Perhaps the most disturbing conversation they had was with the blacksmith, Carmen Rajani. When the party shared news of what was happening with him, he seemed greatly disturbed. Boblin proposed the theory that perhaps Mayor Azif was in league with this cult, which was an idea that Carmen immediately found plausible. Despite his rivalry with the long-standing and wealthy mayor, Carmen had always believed Azif cared for the town their ancestors had both founded. That had been one reason why he found Azif's lack of action on investigating Gauntlet Tower so disturbing. If Azif was somehow corrupted by the dark forces of the Abomination vaults, it would be a betrayal to his own bloodline. Still, Carmen believed the theory had merit and promised to do what he could to find out the truth. With their attacker then in custody, and no further active threats to deal within Otari itself, our heroes returned to the dark corridors of the vaults. They picked up where they had left off in the library of Belkara. They steered clear of the hallway where the wood golem laired, choosing instead to follow the path the spirit of Otari had shown them before, entering a large chamber where a great battle had been fought by the Molochs against the cult of the Canker ghouls some time before. Signs of the battle still filled the chamber, though no bodies were to be seen. No doubt the ghouls devoured their dead, and the Molochs alike. Our heroes quickly dispatched a group of ghouls that were working on cleaning the room. They chose not to open a large, elaborately decorated door depicting a female ghostly figure commanding souls of the dead. They did discover another stairway leading into a deeper layer of the vaults, but instead of taking that stair, they chose to venture south into a scribe's workshop, where they battled the ghost of a woman named Chandru, who had been a lover of Belkara's apprentice, Volok, and the leader of the scribes that served here centuries before. The woman's corpse still classed a portrait of Volok that was strangely in mint condition. They also discovered the infernal contracts of Zozlaren and another devil named Korlok that they had yet to meet. They made their way back to the second layer of the vaults of the minor devil and returned his contract. Overjoyed to be free and able to return to hell, he claimed that Belkar had enlisted the services of a great devil named Erivian, who resided in the lower levels of the vaults. If such a devil as he still served the sorceress, it could mean his work had continued even after her death. Though what all this could mean, our heroes would only come to know in time. An ominous feeling began to settle over our heroes. Each newly discovered layer of the dungeon told the story of Belkar's power, a power that was once again growing even after her death.